Hi, I'm Weston. I love talking about the Astros. I'm here to talk about Game 113 of the regular season, where the Astros win 7-3 over the Texas Rangers, taking the three-game series. And we're not even going to really get into that for a minute because, oh boy, gosh, golly darns, we got some comments to talk about from Dusty Baker earlier today. After being quarantined for like 5 days in a Cleveland hotel room, Dusty Baker makes his return to the team today, and he had a media session that... boy, oh boy, he made some comments. I'm going to look at 4 of them specifically because holy crap, I'm left without words. So the first comment I want to talk about was about Trey Mancini, and might be the second worst defender of the 4 that I'm going to look at. Dusty Baker on Trey Mancini's usage, quote, "If I got Framber pitching, I need Yuli. He's the golden glove. There's only one gold glove." I don't know, man. If I got a fly ball pitcher, he's only played 13 games in the outfield in Baltimore before he got here. I got to play my best fly ball guy there. Alright, there's a lot to get into here. First off, Yuli playing first for ground ball pitchers. Because he's got a gold glove, first off, actually, saying he's the only gold glove is just incorrect, because Altuve also has a gold glove. I don't know, maybe he's referring to only one gold glove at first, because I guess we're pretending like awards actually matter. I don't know, man. It's not based on statistics, which, firstly, it's exactly that. Yuli is not as good a defender at first base as Trey Mancini is. He just isn't. If your only debate is he won the gold glove and Trey Mancini didn't, that's a terrible argument. I'm sorry, that's just not a good argument. Awards aren't based on actual statistics. That's completely the eye test, and the eye test can sometimes be wrong. Mancini's a much more rangy defender, and if you actually wanted to help ground ball pitchers, I think Trey Mancini would actually be the better option at first. On top of that, even if Yuli was far and away the better defender at first base over Mancini, I'd take the offense if I'm being quite honest with you. Will Weston, Yuli had a good game. He has not been great. This was snapping a 0 for 13 stretch. Let's not pretend he's been something he hasn't. Next, some comments about Jake Myers. Baker said he wanted Jake Myers to stay in AAA for longer after his minor league rehab assignment ended to get more at-bats. Quote, "He's one of our best center fielders, but he's never going to get it if I don't give him playtime." That's just not a good enough argument. Saying that you want him to get the position, so you're going to give him more playtime over a better player, who I'm also going to talk about in a second, is just not the greatest idea. Also, if you want him to stay longer, or stay in minor leagues longer, why didn't he? You might say, well, Weston, James Click is the GM, Dusty Baker's the manager. I would say yes. I think Dusty could go to him and say, look, I don't want him here. I want him to be down there and not play him. I don't know why you're forcing him to play here. I don't know why we're forcing to give Jake Myers, who, yeah, certainly has a good ceiling. I don't know why we'd be giving him his baseball baptism at the major league level. If you really think he is a good player that will develop and become a good player, let him develop and stop forcing him to the Sharks. He also made a comment that sounds like Mauricio Dubon is Justin Verlander's personal center fielder. This could be Justin Verlander specifically asking for it. If that's what it is, I guess we just kind of have to live with it. Even still, I don't love that he's the personal center fielder, but even at that, there would still be 4 to 5 other days per week that you could have Chad starting there, but instead... Anyway, the quote was, "Right now my best thrower is Dubon, which is why I play him with JV to stop from going first to third because it's going to be a low-scoring, close game when JV pitches." Now, I have 2 questions about this. One, is he saying it's going to be a low-scoring game because Verlander's a good pitcher and doesn't allow runs, and ergo doesn't allow many base runners, ergo there wouldn't be that many people having the opportunity to go from first to third, ergo making Dubon's role kind of moot? Or is he saying that because B, when Verlander pitches we don't score much, usually because we put players in the lineup that just don't hit well, like Dubon, like Castro for a while there, or like Maldonado? Is that the reason? Because I see some flaws with the plan here. Now again, if it's Verlander making the decision, if he went to Baker and said, I want Dubon to be my personal center fielder, it's something we just kind of have to live with. If this is completely Dusty's idea, which is what it sounds like to me, I disagree with that because I still find that Myers, McCormick, and Dubon are all pretty interchangeable defensively, but McCormick is far and away the best center fielder. Like, hitting-wise, at least. I put the poll up. Granted, it only has 15 votes. That's fine. My point remains, everyone said, yeah, I'd rather have McCormick starting in center field because the offense is leaps and bounds better. You might remember, in 2018 and 19, more or less, Jake Marisnick was Verlander's personal center fielder. And here's the thing. Marisnick was about an 80 to 83 OPS plus guy in those 2 seasons. And you had the ability, with George Springer, to put him at DH or in the other outfield positions on those days because the outfield was very good, but somewhat weak, so you could move Springer around a lot. The Astros don't have that at liberty right now. Our DH is set. Right field is set. Left field, at least with Diaz hitting the way he has, is set. McCormick's real only place in the lineup is center. And the difference between Marisnick having like an 80 to 83 WRC, or OPS plus, excuse me, I'm using OPS plus today, I don't know why, is that Dubon is below 60 and Myers, in a very small sample size, meaning it should be easier for him to have a higher one, is like a 70. It's just not worth it. And lastly, the worst one of them all, but this was just horrifying. Dusty Baker says he does not make lineup decisions based on straight OPS. Quote, that's fan stuff. I do a lot to use advanced analytics. I use a lot of that. I use, WRC plus a lot, OPS plus a lot, WOBA and expected WOBA a lot, expected numbers a lot, right? When I talk about pitchers, I talk about FIP, I like to use SIRA, advanced numbers. And I use those and I try to explain them a lot, right? Like whenever someone asks a question about it, I will always happily explain it because I understand that they are advanced numbers and some people don't know what they are. OPS plus is the ground floor of numbers. Like, this isn't even an advanced number. It's just 2 of the triple slash thrown together. And maybe I'm misreading it, but I really read that as I'm not making decisions based on stats. Do they pass the vibe check? Do they have BDE? And that's how we're making lineups. And it's just, I've spent a good part of this season defending Dusty Baker, and one of these comments today would have made me kind of back away from the camp a little bit, but the fact that all of them came in one media session was wild to me, and I had to talk about it. Anyway, sorry to get all ranty there for a while. I just wanted to make some comments about it because it was kind of wild. Anyway, thank you all for oh, what's that? Oh, yeah, the game. I almost forgot to talk about the actual reason I make videos. Astros win 7-3, an offensive outburst. Got started in the second. Martín Maldonado with a 3-run homer to put the Astros up 3-0. And you could almost hear Christian Vasquez on the bench crying his eyes out because he knew he was not going to get a start for another week. In the 7th, he would also get an RBI single to make it a 6-0 game. And then Aledmus Diaz would hit a sac fly where Kyle Tucker just straight up bullied Charlie Culberson on this play. That was comical how Tucker did that. Nathan Lowe and Luddy Tavares would both get RBI singles in the 8th inning, and then Marcus Semien would homer in the 9th to give the Rangers their 3 runs of the day, but it was kind of garbage time, so yeah, they got 3 runs, but it didn't feel like they were really getting runs. Much of today's story is on the offensive side of the ball. Yuli Gurriel had a good day, 3 for 4. Sorry, Trey Mancini, that means you're not going to start for another month. Alex Bregman, also amazing today. 2 for 2, home run, had a pair of walks. Again, I think this is back to normal for Alex Bregman. He was great. And then on the pitching side of the ball, Framber Valdez, I thought, had one of his better games of the season, where he would go 7 shutout innings with 8 strikeouts, only 1 walk, 4 base hits. Yes, the bases would get loaded in his final inning of work, but he got out of it. And he did give up 7 hard hit balls. And that's usually that's my ground floor of 1 hard hit ball an inning is that's okay. But I want to say 3 or 4 of them were either at 95 or 96. So yeah, those are hard hit balls. That's how the statistic works. And it's sort of the sliding scale of if you give a mouse a cookie for what the limit should be on hard hit balls. But he wasn't giving up these missiles. He gave up a couple missiles, but a lot of them were just barely hard hit balls. And I thought he looked really, really good today. The 8 strikeouts to 1 walk was really what I gravitate to for Framber Valdez, who is not a strikeout pitcher, but boy, oh boy, was he in control today. And I get that from the strikeout to walk ratio, but also 21 swings and misses for Framber Valdez. He was phenomenal today. Phenomenal. Okay, I'll leave. I find Seth Meyers' day hilarious because he would give up a pair of runs, but also strike out the side. He wasn't good, but he still struck out the side, so that's neat. Rafael Montero would give up the home run, which would account for both his only hit and run of his afternoon. Would get a pair of strikeouts. I thought he was fine. The home run, like, yeah, it's not great, but at least he came in a game where it doesn't really matter. Get it out of the system. Overall, a very convincing win for the Astros, which it kind of should be. Our Rangers are not that great. But hey, after last night's incident in the 10th inning, I'm not going to complain. Anyway, the Astros get ready for our next series, which will be welcoming the Oakland Athletics to Minute Maid Park for a 3-game set. And matchup for tomorrow night, which I'm just so excited to talk about at 8:10 Eastern, 7:10 Central, will be Luis Garcia versus Adam Oller for the Oakland A's. But Saturday night, we get treated. I know the news broke yesterday. I forgot it last night in the video, and I wanted to make a special point here. Lance McCullers will be back on Saturday night, and I am just so very excited for that. But that's getting ahead of myself. I'll be back here tomorrow night to talk about that game, and that's all I have to say for the evening. So thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day, and as always, go Astros.